The trip here to Bolivia basically started out a while back, almost a month ago, when Beaver Eller had invited me to come fly up the same plane that was in Phoenix, Arizona, to Collegedale. Beaver invited my wife and I, Ruth, to go to Mongolia with him as missionaries. So I still have time to get my commercial license for flying, and he thought it'd be a good way to build some time and some experience. So he was kind enough to invite me to come up from Mexico to Phoenix and fly with him in the same plane to take it to Collegedale, and then later on the possibility opened up to actually come down here to Bolivia with Steve and learn a lot from him, flying over the Caribbean Ocean and down through the jungles and over here to Bolivia. And so that would let me to build up time so I could get my commercial license before I'm going over to Mongolia with Beaver and his wife. Our plans are to be over in Mongolia in the rural settings, the rural areas. Over half, or about half of the population in Mongolia is still nomadic, and so they don't really have any villages, settlements that are just there. They're just nomadic. They go with their herds to different spots, and so we plan on reaching those people. And both of my wife and I are physicians. We just graduated, and also I'm trying to get my commercial pilot's license to be able to reach the people wherever they are, and provide general medicine, primary care medicine, and do a lot of preventative medicine and health education with the people in Mongolia. A lot of times come spring, the rivers in Mongolia just unfreeze. So there's a lot of water, a lot of cold water, and people are isolated from good health care. And so the plane will, allow us to be able to get people medevaced out of those rural outlying areas where they have no access to health care, good health care, and bring them to a hospital where they could receive some more attention. Or if we can resolve the problem ourselves as physicians, then we'll resolve the problem ourselves and be able to get there with the airplane. Since during this winter, the ice is pretty thick, so a lot of times they can just travel across the ice and get places to where they need to. But a lot of times, it's just too far. So it'll be a really blessing to be able to get to the people, since they're nomadic and they're always moving around from here and there and everywhere. Both my wife and I, before we married, when we were kids, both of us had the idea of being medical missionaries in a foreign country. For me, it's been kind of, I guess, inherited, I guess you could say, because my dad, he always wanted to do the same thing, but he never did. So he would always talk about it, what he wanted to do. And I guess from that, maybe it kind of was born, the idea of going out and being a medical missionary in a foreign country. And it's growing up hearing mission stories really inspire you as a kid, and you think of the different cultures that are out there, and just very, very interesting. But on the other hand, you also think, as later on I grew up, it wasn't just the interesting part of it, just the cultural, oh, that seems cool, it'd be fun to go over there and see all the differences in the culture. But as I grew older, the realization of the spiritual need became even stronger than just, oh, that's just interesting. I think I would want to do that just as an adventure. But it was more the realization spiritually that there is a great need out there in a lot of places for people just to know who Jesus is. And when we ourselves experience who Jesus is, it's just been such a blessing for us that we just want to share that to others who Jesus is. And it just makes such a difference in people's lives.